He has traveled with Maharaj all over the world. In fact, many of the devotees, if they want to know on a certain situation what Maharaj would do or decide, they would consult Maharaj. This is very, very close. We are very fortunate that Maharaj has agreed to come and give his association in this busy schedule of Kartik month here in Vrindavan. His Holiness Bhakti Janardana Swami Maharaj ki jai. I forgot to say one thing. In the Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Maharaj has recently been given the service of initiating spiritual master.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschcha Deshatarine Gyanatirandasya Gyanangyanasalakaya Chakshuro Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadavayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutam Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Bhakta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyadeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. First of all, we'd like to thank Sitaram Prabhu for his kindness and inviting us to be in the association of the devotees coming from Hyderabad, Mumbai, yes. Some of you also, I think, is from Attapur, yes. Surat, different places. How many of you are here for the first time in Vrindavan? Raise your hands. Okay, so it's like 40%. All the Matajis, do you all understand English? Yeah? The month of Kartik is very special especially here in Vrindavan, says that even a tinge of bhakti, serving the Lord or His devotees in the month of Kartik, especially in Sri Vrindavan Dham, will yield unlimited results. Many lifetimes, hundreds and thousands of lifetimes of sinful reactions has been uprooted or burned to the root. And as conditioned souls who've taken birth practically since time immemorial in different species of life, and after going through the cycle in like 8,400,000 species of life, we have come to the platform of human form of life, which is specifically meant for sense, not for sense gratification, self-realization. Yeah, our goal is to get out of this material world, which is full of miseries and sufferings. We've been suffering the fourfold miseries of life, namely repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. And as Srila Prabhupada says, our main disease is that we have forgotten Krishna. Some, they don't want to know who is God. Some, they don't want to do anything with God. Some, they want to be God themselves. But it is not possible because Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. It says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekala Isvara Krishna Ara Sarvabhitaya. Krishna is the only Supreme. He is the Supreme Master, Supreme Enjoyer, Supreme Proprietor, Supreme Controller, and we are all controlled. We are all His servants. But somehow or other, when we have come in contact with the material energy, we kind of forgotten. We become contaminated. Not the soul. The soul cannot be contaminated according to the Bhagavad Gita. According to the Bhagavad Gita, the soul is spiritual by nature. It cannot be mixed with matter. But we have the tendency to identify that we are this material body. And according to the first aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now is the time to inquire about the Supreme Absolute Truth. And after so many lifetimes, we have come to the process of Krishna consciousness, which can reawaken our original tendency to love Krishna. And especially in Vrindavan, very potent. Even at this very moment, because Krishna never take one step outside of Vrindavan, materially called Vrindavan. Even though we are here in Boma Vrindavan, Vrindavan is an expansion of Lord Balaram's energy. Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada established the Krishna Balaram Mandir to tell the whole world that there is no difference between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna, Lord Nityananda and Lord Balaram. Brajendra Nandanaye Sachi Sutta Hoilo Se Balaram Hoilo Nitai. But Balaram's main function is that he is the Supreme Personality Servitor of Godhead. which means that he is none other than Krishna, but the only difference is that Krishna is bluish black in color and Lord Balaram is crystal white. The mood is different because Lord Balaram, as the original spiritual master, he showed us how we can serve Lord Krishna wholeheartedly with mind, words, and action. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His main function is that to accept our service. And Lord Balaram, who is the personification of always wanting to serve Lord Krishna, we should follow in his footsteps. It says in the Mathura Mahatmya that even a fortnight of stay here in Vrindavan, one can develop one's love of God. Or even one night. I don't know how many nights you're staying here. 6 nights. So there is a big possibility that before you leave Vrindavan, you will also attain love of God. It depends on one's sincerity. It depends on one's conviction. It depends on one's determination. Srila Prabhupada says that determination in Krishna consciousness means that in this lifetime, I want to make sure that I will go back home, back to Godhead. This is our nature, is to be in the spiritual world, but being in the material world is not our real nature. It is out of illusion that I can be happy in this material world, but it is not possible. Prabhupada gave an example. It's like a fish out of the water. Even if you give everything, all the pleasurable facilities for the fish who is out of the water, the fish will not be satisfied, never be happy. But what the fish should do is that the fish should go back to the water and then will become freely experience the independence and pleasure. So our nature, but ultimately though, the nature of the soul is always to serve and always be dependent unto the Supreme Lord. I'm going to read some passages here. This is a book that was launched this Kartik. It's a compilation of teachings by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, our dearmost spiritual master, Diksha Guru, and what I mentioned in some of my lectures during my travel. So our main focus is how to become determined. Determination, Drita Brata, is one of the central qualities required for progress in devotional life. Without firm resolve, the soul cannot overcome the constant distractions and allurements of the material world. Yes. The material world superficially looks very attractive because this is the nature of Maya, to attract us, to put us into illusion, ultimately to bind us in this material world and not to let us go out of the material world. Maya Devi, Durga Devi, she is very powerful. Actually, she is also a Vaishnava or Vaishnavi. But her main function, even though she feels very embarrassed to see Krishna face to face, But her main function is to put us into illusion, the conditioned souls. Because we have to prove to Durga Devi that we are devotees of the Supreme Lord. Surrender. And as long as we are not able to prove or convince Durga Devi, then we will always be under her jurisdiction. So one must be determined, especially now that you have come to Krishna consciousness. Now we have to be determined that I cannot be happy in this world, and therefore my main goal is to get out of this material, to go back home, back to Godhead. Even though again, this Vrindavan is none different than the original Vrindavan in the spiritual sky, because our senses are contaminated. We have to cleanse, purify our senses, purify our mind, purify our intelligence, and ultimately always thinking that I'm a servant of Lord Krishna. This is our nature. Once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked, how is it if this is real Vrindavan? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he did parikrama here in Vrindavan, 1932. When he came here, especially he was in Radha Kund, he said that I don't see even one single Brajabasi here. That was in 1932. So how about now? Almost 100 years. Yes? Less than 100 years ago. Why? Because a real Brajabasi means always the person is thinking of Krishna. Never forget Krishna and always remembering Krishna. But maybe some, after those many years, some may have developed Baba Bhakti after performing sadhana or Vaidhi Bhakti. Then they come to Raganuga Bhakti, then Baba Bhakti, and maybe now there are some pure devotees. Prabhupada was once asked, how many are like you? Like Prabhupada being a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. 10%. So a reporter asked Prabhupada, how many are like you? Because he can understand that Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary soul. Prabhupada says, oh, not many. There are few. But then he asked the reporter, why don't you become one? So this is our goal. Our goal is to become pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. But we have to be determined. Let's see what Prabhupada says about determination. A lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Chapter 1, Text 15 in Honolulu, Hawaii, May 21st, 1976. Determination means we must be very steady. Not that I must execute Krishna consciousness. Nothing can check me. You see, in the month of Kartik, there is a big sale of bhakti, as we mentioned earlier. Everything that we do in bhakti is multiplied so many times the result. So we became inspired to get up early in the morning. Yeah? Is it true? Do you get up early in the morning in Kartik? How about after Kartik? Yeah, I've seen even our brahmacharis. Oh, they're all on time. They all wake up like by 3 o'clock. You know, they're all on time for Mangal Arti. So, actually, the month of Kartik is especially made in such a way, it is structured in such a way that even after Damodar month, after Kartik, we should continue to do what we were doing in the month of Kartik. It's like the whole year we should do this. Like getting up early in the morning, attend Mangal Arti, do your sadhana, chant your rounds early in the morning, attend Srimad Bhagavatam class, and read more and chant more, and do some practical service during the whole day. So this should be our meditation, because once we became used to it, then we will become determined, yes, I want to do this the whole year, all year long. So being steady, this is what the meaning of determination. I must execute Krishna consciousness no matter what happened. Either in times of failure or success. Either in times of victory and defeat. Always, whatever comes into my way, whether it is undesirable, I still will continue and determine to practice bhakti. Prabhupada says in London, Bhagavad Gita lecture, chapter 2, text 41. If one is determined, then Krishna will give him strength. That determination is the real strength. Yes, if you are determined, it's like even materialists, if they want to achieve something, they will do anything and everything to achieve it, right? Let's say they want something which is like a very expensive material item. So they will work hard. They will work hard. Sometimes they will even borrow some money to purchase that item. So similarly in bhakti, the more we become determined, then the more we'll become strong in our execution of devotional service. It's like sometimes we have some brahmacharis and they're not so healthy, wise looking. They're like patla. But they're very strong spiritually. Where did they get this strength? Again, by following the instructions from Srila Prabhupada. We cannot underestimate Srila Prabhupada's instructions, because we will be able to penetrate the most difficult, impenetrable, almost, the material energy. So we need strength. Now you are here in Vrindavan, you please pray to Lord Balaram. It's like Prabhupada asked, who is stronger, Lord Balaram or Krishna? Then some devotee says, Lord Balaram, because he's the elder brother. But then Prabhupada says, no, Lord Krishna is stronger. But because Lord Balaram's arm is on the shoulder of Lord Krishna. But Bala, Bala means strength, spiritual strength. We need spiritual strength. And Rama means pleasure, happiness. So Balaram gives spiritual strength for us to be happy, to be satisfied. Prabhupada says in Los Angeles, February 18, 1969, without determination, we cannot make progress in spiritual life. Just like most of you are in university or college, how many of you still go to school or college? Raise your hands. Many of you, right? So you are determined to graduate. Am I correct? So you have to work hard. Sometimes it says you have to what? Burn your eyebrows. That means you have to study hard. You have to be attentive to the subjects was being taught by the professors, so that you'll be able to assimilate and remember them. So similarly, there is a final exam. The final exam is at the time of death. You have a final exam in your different levels until you graduate, until you go to your master's degree, and then maybe some of you will go to PhD or whatever. But that is material education. There is a spiritual education as well, whereby at the time of death, we will be tested whether we remember Krishna. Yam yam bhavi smarandabam jajanti antikalevaram. That is the final exam. So we must be determined. Yes, without determination, we cannot make progress in spiritual life. One must be firmly resolved. Yes, I must finish this journey back to Godhead. How many of you would like to go back to Godhead? Everyone. Everyone. That's good. So we have to pay the price. There's a saying, no pain, no gain. Which means, what is that pain that we have to execute? Austerity. And the greatest austerity is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the beginning stage, we don't have taste for chanting. But Srila Rupa Goswami says that the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, whenever he hears he utters the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For him, one mouth and 2 ears is not enough. He wishes that he has unlimited, thousands of tongues and thousands of ears, because 1 tongue and 2 ears is not enough to relish the holy name. But why is it that we don't have that taste? Because of avidya, of ignorance. That's why we have to develop also a certain degree of wanting to understand the spiritual knowledge given from the books of Srila Prabhupada. We should also read. Prabhupada says, I did not write these books not just for distribution. He says, I wrote these books for my disciples to read, so that they will become convinced to chant the holy name of the Lord. That is the conclusion. It's like here we have Bhagavad Gita. Ultimately, the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is to surrender. Now, we cannot surrender unto the Supreme Lord if we're not determined. Determined is a very important element for us to ultimately surrender and take shelter unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Prabhupada says, if you are actually serious, then determination will come automatically. Now, serious. Have you heard the word sincere? Like Prabhupada will give an example. Even a devotee who's sweeping the dirt in the temple, sweeping the floor, Prabhupada would say, this person is sincere. So what is the meaning of sincerity? It came from the word serious. Sincerity means being focused, one-pointed attention. Ekaha kuru nandana. Sometimes you've seen in Vrindavan, we've seen it, like children, they will go and walk on a tightrope. Have you seen that anywhere in Mumbai also? No? Here you will see, right? Some of the gypsies, they're gypsies actually. So a young girl with a some kind of balancing wood, and she will walk. Now this is very difficult. Don't try it. You have to be expert to do this. Now when she walks, because it's a different, there's like a distance, let's say even 10 feet. And the rope is like swinging, right? But she has this balancing stick. Where does the girl focus on? Anyone? Where is the focus? Because she has to walk to the other end. Where is her focus on? Where? To the rope? Where? Huh? No. The point where she's going. She doesn't even look on the rope. This is automatically the steps that she will take. She doesn't look, oh, I'm missing the rope. No. Her focus is right there. So we should have a Vaikuntha vision. Our vision should be to go back to the spiritual world. And all the different elements, facilities that Srila Prabhupada has given to us to reach that goal, provided we should be focused. Now one may say, well, Maharaj, what shall I do? I still go to school. Or Grihastha, Maharaj, I go to work. How am I going to do this? How am I going to be focused? How can I balance spiritual life and also my education? It seems to be very, very difficult to do. Or spiritual life and Grihastha life. Very simple. It is not what you call balance means 50-50. No. At least 51-49. But quality. This is what, it's not the time. It's your time, whatever you have, but it should be quality time. Especially when you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Especially when you read Srila Prabhupada's books. Be focused. Try to assimilate whatever messages, all of them in the beginning may be very difficult to understand. I remember when I was a young boy, first time I read Prabhupada's books, I was 14 years old in the Philippines. That was in 1977. I'm sure most of you are still in a different species, in a different life. That was 1977. I never met any devotees that time, but Prabhupada, he is the first person I met through his books. Easy Journey to Other Planets and The Perfection of Yoga. I never met any devotees. Only after 7 years when I moved to Canada. So when I was reading these books, I cannot figure out what is Prabhupada doing? What is he trying to say here? But I have so much faith that there is something here in Prabhupada's books that is very unique, that no other books in the world can be compared to. So I keep reading and reading. I cannot figure it out. Then my mother, she gave me some money to buy a book through mail order, but it did not come. Somehow or other it get lost along the way. It's like in India, right? Before, if you put some mail, you're not sure whether it will reach the recipient. Philippines has that tendency also. So I bought my first Bhagavad Gita through mail order. When I reached Canada, I sent money order to Los Angeles. Then I received the book. And still I cannot figure it out. I cannot. But I know there's something very valuable here. Not until when I went to the temple in Toronto. And I met the devotees. And then by witnessing their very, very interesting activities. Even though while I was at work, I was thinking of the devotees, what they are doing. So this is Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Gita mentions twice, Manmana Bhagavat Bhakto Madhyaji Namam Namaskuru. So now you have come to Vrindavan. There is a certain mood here that you will never find anywhere else in the universe, because there is only one Vrindavan in each and every universe. Vrindavan is the place where Lord Krishna resides, and his pastimes he performed, and he took birth here. He doesn't take birth in anywhere else, any part of the world, or in the entire universe. So you should try to capture what is the mood of Vrindavan. The mood of Vrindavan is service. Always, as I mentioned in one of my classes, it is easier to remember Krishna than to forget him. Always remember this. It is easier to remember Krishna than to forget him. How is that? Well, Prabhupada has given us everything. The books, the mood of Vrindavan, you put it into your heart, lock it up, and then when you go back to your places of residence, then little by little you give them to others. The more you give, the more you will receive. It will not be emptied out. You remember when you go to school, you remember the teachings from the Bhagavad Gita. Read a sloka, at least 1 or 2 slokas every day. We have a saying also, a sloka a day keeps Maya away. It's like, an apples a day keeps the doctors away. So a sloka. So when you're at work, or when you're in your school, from time to time you remember what slokas you've read. Try to remember the important points. And remember Vrindavan. It's like you're going to be going, or you've been to so many different leela stallis or places of the Lord's pastimes. You remember those pastimes. This is how you can be focused. Or if you're working, then try to save some money and help spread Krishna consciousness. Give parts of your fruits of your labor to spread Krishna consciousness. And wherever you go also, bring some books, small books with you. Give a person or 2 per day. Tell them about Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. That is being focused. If you are actually serious, then determination will come automatically. As Prabhupada says, Serious. If you are focused, then automatically you are becoming determined. Let's see what is the statement coming from our Guru Maharaj. Determination is very necessary for spiritual advancement. And even if there are difficulties which are bound to happen, do not withdraw from devotional service. Yes, as even Prahlad Maharaj says, we're all looking for happiness. Am I correct? Yes. Was that Anandamaya Vyasa? This is our nature. Who is not looking for happiness? Everyone, even an ant is looking for the sweets, crawling all day long. But somehow, miseries come. Are you looking for miseries in life? No. Of course not. But miseries comes due to our karma. And this is the nature of this world. Dukalayam asasmatam. So now, as Guru Maharaj says, Do not withdraw from devotional service. Continue. Always maintain a humble attitude and be ready to offer respect to others. This way you will never go wrong. You will never become a loser if our always mentality is in a humble position. I was reading the other day, in the battle of ego, he who loses is the winner. Because you see, ego means misidentification, false ego. I am American, I'm Hindu, I'm Indian, I'm Filipino, I'm Christian. We are not any of this. We're spirit souls, eternal in nature, and our nature is always to serve Krishna. We're not at any time going to be the supreme enjoyer or supreme proprietor. So we should always be in a humble state of mind. Guru Maharaj continues, without determination, it is not possible to succeed on the spiritual path. It is very important. Without determination, we will never succeed. It is not possible. There are so many obstacles that one has to face, and the biggest obstacle is not very far, which is the mind. Can you see your mind? This is subtle. Our body is made of material elements, according to the Bhagavad Gita. Bhumir apo nalobhayo kamano budir evacha ahankara iti yame bina prakriti ashtida. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. This is gross body. But then there is subtle body, mind, intelligence, and the soul, ego. Ego is the symptom of the soul. So the mind can be our best friend, and it can be also our worst enemy if it is not controlled. Especially when we chant the holy name of the Lord, the mind travels all over the universe, saying something else. Why are you chanting? Why don't you just go back to sleep? Why are you chanting so much? No, think of something else. Think of sense enjoyment. There is a way how we can control the mind. Ignore the mind. The mind, when it's ignored, it'll become pacified. It'll become peaceful. Yes. In order to control the mind, we have to control our senses. Without controlling the senses, we cannot have a peaceful mind. When the mind becomes peaceful, it says that one is happy, becomes happy, and the soul is already rich. That means Paramatma within our heart is there, and we'll be able to hear what the Paramatma is saying, and we'll be able to follow what Paramatma says. And the spiritual master is the external manifestation of the Paramatma. Our spiritual master is very much in touch with Paramatma. He knows past, present, and future. He can tell. He can predict what's going to happen. We've heard that many stories from our God brothers, God sisters, the way they told the stories, the experiences with Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj will say something that they never thought will happen, but after a few years, it did. This is the symptom of a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. So many obstacles will be there, especially the mind. We just need to ignore the mind. Prabhupada gave an example how to control the mind. Just like in circus, they have lions or tigers, how is it that they are being controlled by the trainer? They only have some kind of short stick or a whip. You know how they do it? Huh? They starve. They starve the lion. They starve the tigers. Don't feed them for days. What happens? Then little by little, the trainer will give some food. And then whatever the trainer will say, they will follow. So similarly, the mind can be our greatest friend, our best friend, or our greatest enemy. Greatest enemy if we're not able to control it. And how to control? Ignore the mind. Just like Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was being enticed by a prostitute, right? The Chandkasi sent a prostitute to bring Haridas Thakur to make him fall down. But Haridas Thakur says, okay, I will entertain you, but let me finish my rounds first, because I have a certain number of rounds I have to chant. So he just stayed there. So the prostitute stayed there, and the whole night Haridas Thakur was chanting, and then the next day the sun rises, the day is over. So, but this prostitute was determined to make Haridas Thakur fall down. 3 days. Yeah, he told the Kasi or Nawab, I will make sure in 3 days. So the day is over. So the prostitute came back the next day. Same thing happened. Please sit down. Let me chant my rounds, and I will entertain you. Again, the sun rises. Haridas Thakur finishes rounds. So the third day, it happened again. But then what happened to the prostitute? She became a devotee. So this is the way. If you are determined to become a devotee, then Maya will leave us alone. Hare Krishna. Let me see what I said here. Srila Prabhupada says that the person in Krishna consciousness is one who is fully determined to go back to Godhead. This is from one of my classes. I'm just reading it. Determination is an intrinsic quality of the soul, and it is essential for anyone aspiring to go back home, back to Godhead. For a devotee, unwavering determination and conviction in serving the Supreme Lord are their very life and soul. Those situated at the highest level of bhakti will not move even an inch away from the Lord's service. It is their only occupation, their only joy. They will do anything and everything for Krishna, and nothing outside His service attracts them. By contrast, neophytes may sometimes waver as their philosophical understanding is not yet firm. So this is the difference between a Kanista Bhakta and an Uttama Bhakta. A Kanista Bhakta means a neophyte. It's not fixed. He only sees Krishna and himself. He doesn't see anybody else. He doesn't see who is a devotee, who is an envious person. No, he doesn't see. It's like a horse. You know, a horse, they have blinds. You cannot see what's here. But sometimes, if you just like this, you can tell what's there, and you can tell there. So a neophyte is like this, very shallow in his understanding of the philosophical knowledge coming from the Shastra. So he is flickering. His faith is, this is the measurement. One who has very flickering faith, not so steady, that is a kanista. But an uttama, heavily, that in such a way that his faith cannot be wavered, cannot be swayed. So, yes, neophytes sometimes waver, but a pure devotee of the Lord cannot be persuaded to abandon service to Him, to Krishna. Nothing can shake their resolve. Srila Prabhupada explains, if one is determined to stay in this material world, Krishna will give all the facilities to forget Him. If you want to forget Krishna, Krishna will make all the facilities for you to forget Him. But if you are determined to become a devotee, Krishna will give all the facilities to have you become a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. So we have only two choices here, Maya or Krishna. You cannot be in between. It's not possible. There will be an accident. It's like you'll be you wanted to go using a bus. One of your feet is on the bus and one is on the ground, and the bus is going to go, and you cannot make a decision whether you want to go or you want to stay. What's going to happen? Oh, the bus is going. Either you stay or you go. You cannot be both Maya and Krishna. You have to choose only one. So which one are you going to choose? Krishna. There you go. You must be determined though. To truly take up Krishna consciousness, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advises that one must first be convinced that this material world is not the place for me. If you're not convinced in that way, then you will want to remain in the material world. But I'm very happy to meet you all. I can see that there is some sincerity within all of you. You just have to keep going and become more and more enthusiastic. As a verse, Utsahan Nishayadarya Tat Karma Pavartana. One must be patient also, because as Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is a gradual process. You can expedite it, but still, because of our conditioning, some may take longer to become Krishna conscious, some may take sooner. It depends on how you apply the process. There is nothing wrong with the process. The only defect is that how we apply the process of Krishna consciousness. And coming to Vrindavan will expedite your process to go back home, back to Godhead. So please come back again and stay longer. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Is there any question first? A question or comments? Yes. Give the mic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful class. I had the question that sometimes when we see some material activities,
some material
activities, suppose some boy and girl activities, things like that. So, like we try to not see that or try to take our attention outside. But sometimes
you cannot artificially not to see it. No, because you see it already. You cannot say, I do not see it. Okay, go ahead.
So that's exactly my question, that the attention goes in that again comes back, especially during my chanting. those type of thoughts are distracting during that time. So how to make sure that sometimes I try to doing my job so that instead of thinking of that, I try to hear the chanting better at that time. But still, maybe it was very distracting. How to
See, you have to learn how to discriminate. Discrimination. Things that will be able to help you in Krishna consciousness, you take it up. Things that will not help you to become Krishna conscious, you put it into the garbage. But you cannot artificially don't look. Just like an owl. An owl closes the eyes in the daytime, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
So for the owl, everything is dark, but it's not. The reality is that you should learn how to discriminate. If you see that this is Maya, push it out, flash it out immediately. And if this is gonna help me, yes, I should take it up. So when you chant the holy name of the Lord, the best is to be surrounded by devotees or in front of a picture of the deities, your favorite deities, or with Tulsi Devi. Chanting outside, you can still continue chanting outside. But Maya is so much. Even in Vrindavan, Maya is here. You have to be extra careful. Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, you mentioned that even after Kartik we should intensify and keep the intensity of our sadhana practice.
Yes.
So what are some practical ways through which we can do that? Because eventually after 7 days, 10 days, things fizzle out. We take vows and all during Kartik.
You should always think that every day is Kartik. Seriously. That means you should be more serious because, hey, Kartik is a big sale, let me do a little bit. No. Your faith and the holy name should be always increasing every day. And how you can have this faith increasing? Sadhu Sangha. You have to choose the right association. If you're in the wrong association, Hare Krishna, you will never make it. Yeah, friends in the material world are only good when they have something that you want. If they don't have any more of what you want from them, it's not friends anymore. In Bhakti, friends are real friends. So find at least one friend whom you can confer if you have any difficulties, if you have any problems, if you have any doubts. Even a devotee who is a little bit more senior than you are, or advanced, it is always good to have one person like that. Okay? Practically, you should always think the night before, after Kartik, the night after the Kartik, the next day you should say, I will do the same thing what I did in the whole month of Kartik. And I will maintain this for the rest of the year until next Kartik begins again. It's only in the mind. You have to have a good mindset. A sadhu's mindset is fixed. He doesn't say, oh, tomorrow, I will wake up late. No. Your mindset should be really so focused. We discussed that. You have to be focused. You have to be convinced. You have to have a strong sadhana. Don't be slack. Otherwise, it'll take you many millions of lifetimes to go back home back to Godhead. Okay? By the way, this book is available near the MBT gate if you wish to have Message for the Soul. Very interesting book, because what Prabhupada says, what Guru Maharaj says, and whatever also came out from me, 7 topics. Bhakti, devotional service, chanting, the connection, humility, the essence, surrender, the willingness, association, the inspiration, detachment, the result, and what we discussed, the last chapter, determination, the inner strength. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Gaur Sitana Premanande. Okay, we chant a little bit. Everyone stand up now. You've been sitting for a long time.
Hare Krishna. Thank Maharaj for coming and giving his association. It's so sweet to hear, because Maharaj is blessed by Krishna to touch many souls. When he speaks with a lot of conviction and command. You can experience that. Whenever I come to Vrindavan, I have one thing in mind, that Maharaj will be in the Mangarati and say, "Welcome to Sri Vrindavan Dham." Then he would say, in particular. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving this wonderful class, touching all of our heart on focus, determination, sincerity, Sri Vrindavan Dham. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.